Hello, welcome to another edition of RelationShift. I'm so glad you could join me today. Today, we will be continuing from where we stopped last week. Last week, we were talking about initiating relationships, how important that is. Because there are times you will meet a new person and you need to relate with them. You need to start a conversation. Without that conversation, you won't be able to get the benefit of this person. But then, how do you ensure that you overcome the fear of starting this discussion, this conversation with this new person you just met, who is going to do you well eventually? How do you initiate this conversation? That's what we'll discuss today. But don't forget to drop a comment, to like this post, to subscribe to this channel. All right, so 5 things very quickly how to overcome the fear of starting a conversation. You know that it's a natural thing for you to feel fear when you want to start a conversation with someone. It's a natural thing. But then that conversation may be so important that if you don't kickstart it, you will remain at the same point. So that is why it is important that we have this discussion around how to overcome the fear of starting this conversation. So how do you face your fear when you want to initiate this new conversation or new relationship with someone? Number one, you have to identify the reason for your fear. Why are you scared to initiate this discussion? Generally speaking, there are about a few things that that stops people from starting this conversation. The first might be that you are afraid of being rejected. You want to say hello to someone, you want to stop the person to talk to the person, and the way the person will look at you and all of that, you are afraid of being rejected, or maybe you are afraid of being misunderstood. If you are a man, you are trying to stop a lady to talk to a lady to start something meaningful, a meaningful conversation. The girl might think probably, oh, you just want to stop her and woo her or something. Yeah, you might be misunderstood. Or maybe you have the fear of not being enough. What if, all of that, you are scared of not being enough to start a conversation. Maybe your spoken English, maybe the kind of job you do, and all of that. Maybe that is going to stop you. That's reason for your fear. So you need to identify what is it that is going to stop me from starting this conversation, and then you go ahead to find a way to cancel that fear. Cancel what the cause of fear is. You need to first of all identify it, because sometimes this relationship you're about to have, this conversation you're about to have, this other person might also be looking forward to you coming to them. While you are afraid to start the conversation, the other person might also be waiting eagerly, or maybe the person is also feeling like, what if I go meet this person? How will it feel? So maybe the person is afraid too. So you need to identify the reason for your fear. Number 2, you need to redefine what rejection is. Rejection should not determine what your worth is, because sometimes not every conversation we start will lead to a desired result. So even if the person eventually rejects you, does not mean that that relationship was meant to be. Maybe it's not something that will even end well for you eventually, or end well for the other person. So rejection should be redefined. If someone rejects me, well, if I'm supposed to ask a woman out for a date or something, and she rejects, that might just be what is best for me at that time. Maybe it's not supposed to be. Maybe I'm not supposed to be in that kind of relationship. All right? So redefine rejection so that it doesn't stop you at any point. You might need to go ahead and meet the person, because you have redefined that going to this person, being rejected is nothing. It might just mean that the relationship is not for me. Number 3, shift your focus from yourself. It is because you are looking at yourself, judging yourself, defining yourself, and all of that. That is why you are scared to go ahead with this conversation with this person. What if you focus attention on the other person and ask valuable questions? I asked that about 2 podcasts ago. I talked to you about that. You need to focus on this other person. If this person feels like the light is on them, You're trying to know more about them instead of you trying to tell them about yourself. Maybe the story will change. Focus on trying to know this person, and this person will take interest in you instead of you trying to push yourself to be known. Try to know the other person better. Shift the focus from yourself. Number four, prepare a few talking points. When you are trying to approach a person, you don't have to have a note written down, but in your heart, try to rehearse. What are the things I want to say to this person? What am I going to ask this person? What is important to ask this person? What am I supposed to start with? What is the conversation starter I'm going to use to talk to this person? And all of that. Rehearse something in your mind, first of all. That is very important. Rehearse something in your mind. Prepare a few talking points. Rehearse in your mind already. And five, which is the last one I want to address today, trust God for help. Trust God for help. As a person who is a believer, you need to trust God for help. Pray for courage. Pray for wisdom. Lord, how do I go about it? Give me the courage to approach this person. Like I said earlier, this conversation may mean a lot to you. If you don't start the conversation, then you lost. So you need courage, you need the wisdom to approach this. So ask God for the wisdom and the courage to go about it. Like I said, fear is normal, but then fear doesn't have to stop you. So how do I do this? This is what I just pointed out in this broadcast. First, identify the reason for your fear. Number two, redefine what rejection is for you. Number three, shift your focus from yourself. Four, prepare a few talking points. And number five, trust God for help. I hope this helps you in your next conversation with someone when you're about to meet this new person and you need to have a conversation. I hope this would come as something that will be useful at that point. Thank you so much for your time. Don't forget to subscribe and drop a comment. I will sure get back to you shortly.